Hey, it's my birthday and we're off on another adventure. Okay, you're right.
So, sorry, we become very friendly on this one. Huh? What'd you say, Dennis?
You might have to grab that other case depending on how much they drink when you take that first one back.
Okay, I can do that. I almost left that second case on the boat today. All right, so a variety of fossils today. Those that are just only looking for the megalodon, you're gonna get bored. There's so many other cool things that you can find today too. So I'm gonna show you guys. So let's start off with some whale teeth. We don't find very many of these, but it's not impossible to find them. They're pretty cool. They're pretty conical. It's got little striations in them. They could be different sizes, kind of different shapes, depending on what kind of whale it came off of. Whale vertebrae, dolphin vertebrae. Both flat on the surface, got some ridges on the side. You can also find other vertebrae to other animals too today that are not even in this display kit. So a lot of fun. Whale bone, pretty flat, pretty dense. You'll find lots of this today. This is like one of the main food sources for the megalodons back in the day. And also, if you pay attention to them, sometimes you can find them with feeding damage in it. It's just from whenever the sharks were eating that animal, that's where the tooth imprinted in. So, whale bone, ancient manatee. Find a lot of this today, pretty round, like oblong, pretty dense. Find a lot of their rib bones, but you don't find a lot of the dugong teeth. They actually still exist over in Southeast Asia. Pretty cool. They're like a big manatee. Whale ear bone. I knew I was missing something. Fossilized whale ear bone. Kind of look like a human ear. Pretty cool. You can also find fossilized dolphin ear bones. They're a little bit smaller and kind of really curved in, but they're both really cool to find. Stingrays. So there's a couple different stingray fossils that you guys can find today. Stingray mouth plates. Most of the size ones that you'll find today are going to be this small size. The bigger ones come from bigger rays. You don't find very many of those. But we have them on board. That way you guys can see a little bit better detail on what they look like. Again, finding a whole one of those, they're like this big. Most of the time they're not whole because they have all these little lines in them. And that's kind of where they broke apart. That's why there are all these little pieces that was like the little lines in them. I had a lady find a whole one day. She was like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh wow, that's actually super rare. Most of the time you don't find them like that." Same with the stingray barb. Most of the time you find them, it's just going to be the tip, the middle piece, or the base section. To find a whole one of them, pretty rare. I've only got 2 in my collection, but I've got a million little pieces. Just, they're pretty dense, or not pretty dense, they're pretty fragile. They're kind of glass-like, so they break really easy. You find modern ones on the beach, though. If you ever go to the beach, you'll find modern ones, complete. Stingray dermal denticle, it's one of the little hard armor pieces on their backs. If you ever go to the aquarium, you'll see like little rise ridges on their backs. That's what these are. You can find skate dermal denticles. They're round. If you hear us refer to them as mermaid nipples today, that's what they are. Skate dermal denticles. They look like a little nipple. If you guys see one, be like, ah, that's exactly what she was talking about. Oddball little mammal bones. Little rabbit bones, fox bones, bobcat bones. We had a lot of the same animals that we have today roaming around back in the day too. So any oddball bones, pick them up. Fossilized garfish scale. These are pretty cool. You can find them a little bit smaller and a little bit bigger. You can find little tiny ones if you really have your eyes peeled. They kind of look like an arrowhead. That is the only thing that we're not allowed to keep today, guys. Arrowheads are a class 3 felony, and I'm not trying to go to jail today. I get checked by Fish and Wildlife pretty frequently. They're just sitting at the boat ramp waiting for us to come back. So we ask you guys to be honest, please. Show them to us. We like to take pictures of them, take pictures of y'all, but we take them, we bury them on land. That way we don't have to deal with them again. I don't really want to get in trouble for that. If I'm going to jail, we're all going to jail.
Why don't they want you to keep them?
It's just state law. Yep, artifacts.
Considered an artifact.
Yep. State law, even like pottery too. We don't find a bunch of that. We don't find many arrowheads neither, but I've had to take them from people and they're like, why? I'm like, well, it's just, the law is the law. I don't make the rules. I just try to follow them. Don't make them. I just try to follow them. Yeah, I'm the enforcer.
Don't make them just.
There, like, if you do want to go artifact hunting, you can. There's legal places that you can go in the state of Florida and do it. It's dumb, but it is what it is. Okay, so fossilized deer antler. Same deers that we had today roamed the woods back in the ancient ice age. This is a deer tine. It's the very tip of the deer antler. Pretty cool. But Indians actually used to use these back in the day too to make their arrowheads. Flint knapping. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So we have fossilized turtle shell. Along with the manatee and the whale rib bones, we find a lot of this too. There's hard shell turtles and soft shell turtles. Hard shell turtles got the little lines in between. They're called scoots. Soft shell turtles kind of got like the golf ball dimple effect to it. Different size pieces come from different size animals. So sometimes you find smaller pieces and sometimes you find bigger pieces. And along with the turtles, you can also find fossilized tortoise shell. It's actually really dense. It'll look like a turtle scoop, but it's just extremely dense. And along with the tortoise, you can find their little armored spurs on their body. I don't know if you guys ever seen a tortoise, but they kind of have like little ridges on their skin. So sometimes they can be flat pancake-like, and sometimes they can be pointed. Sometimes they could be pancake with a point on it. But they're pretty cool. And you can find smaller ones, and you can find bigger ones. And there is also stuff, guys, that you could find today that's not in this display. So if anything weird that you find, like a little claw, you can find sometimes they're turtle claws or tortoise claws. They're extremely rare to find, but I do have people occasionally find them. Especially today, we got quite a bit of diggers, so you never know what's going to pop up, which is really cool. Oddball bones. This is like a little knuckle bone to a horse or to a llama. It's like their leg bone went into there and their hoof connected to that. Pretty cool. Anything oddball that you don't know what it is today, guys, just pick it up, put it in your bag if we're not standing around you. We'll go over it at the end of the day. If it's a bunch of rocks and you ask us, what's this? We tell you it's a rock. If you want to keep it, you can. It's up to you. I don't judge you for how many times you ask me what this rock is. I'd rather you ask us than not ask us, because if it's something really cool and you throw it back and at the end of the day you're describing it to me, I'd rather have told you to keep that instead of, you know, not keep it. Alright, so we had 3 different elephants back in the day. Mammoth, Mastodon, and Gomphotherium. Mammoth, they're pretty flat-like. You see they got like layers of lasagna. Gomphotherium and Mastodon, they got humps on them. These are all pretty. This is a neonatal tooth, so it would have been just the other half. This Mastodon tooth, sometimes they can get up to like this big, so this is just one little hump. And these guys got the flat layered like lasagna. So the dentine in this Mastodon and Gomphotherium is very, very fragile. The layer that it fossilized in is very acidic, so they didn't hold together that well. Most of the time, you're going to find just these portions of it. You see the bicolor and tricolor effect on it? The dentine just kind of deteriorated over time. Same with the mammoth and mammoth tusk. I call it kibbles and bits. See how it's got the double color in it? Use the sun to your advantage today, guys, because it's going to help you pick out the different colors and everything. Same with the tusk. We found a whole tusk one day. It broke. We spent like 8 hours excavating it. It broke apart into 1 million pieces. It sucks. It's a cool memory, but this is like a piece of the tusk that we had flake off on us. See how it's got all the X's in it? It's called cross hatching. You can pass that around so you guys can get a good look at it. It's called cross hatching. That's fossilized ivory. Pretty cool. Huh?
I want to put this in my rock salt so bad.
Those?
Any of the fossils.
Well, you'll really like the agate I get to next. Let me do the horses, and then we'll get to the agate. Alright, fossilized horse teeth, bison teeth, and camel teeth, and deer teeth. We got a little variety pack. So, fossilized horse teeth. The longer they are, the younger they are. The shorter they are, the older they are. See how it's got the striations in it? Got the weird funky pattern on the top. Look for that today. Pick up something, gotta look for the funky pattern, look for the striations. Sometimes they're just severely templed, so it's just really, you can only see the striations going through. Same with this as a horse incisor. It's like one of our front incisors. It's just one of theirs. A little bit different shape, but it is a horse tooth. Fossilized bison tooth. A little bit different shape, but it's still got the funky little pattern on it and the striations going through with it. Fossilized camel tooth. It's a little bit different, but still got the funky pattern on the top. Fossilized deer tooth. We're just getting smaller and smaller. Pretty cool though. And then this is a taper tooth. They still exist down in South America. They're like a little anteater. It's a tooth with a little trunk on it. Taper. Pretty neat. So, alright, agates. Now we're getting to agates. This is the cut open one. We cut it open with a rock saw. But that's agatized coral. It's Florida State stone. Florida State stone. Agatized coral, Florida State stone. This is a different locality than the Peace River one. The Peace River one's a little bit different. Different colors come from different areas. But it had to be in the perfect sediments to create either the Jersey pockets or the botryoidal pockets. And this is a agatized shell. If you hold it up to the sun, you see how it's kind of clear. Find anything oddball today, hold it up and see if it's agatized. I keep those whenever I found them. This is a fossilized oyster. These are called hagstones. Find oddball ones of those today. Pretty neat though. We don't find a lot of the agatized coral, but we have had a couple of black pockets pop up on the boat. Any other oddball rocks too? This kind of looks like a little lizard.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to keep today, you guys are more than welcome to. Just no arrowheads. That's it. Oddball vertebrae. little hourglass looking ones, those are fish vertebrae. This is a reptile vertebrae from a snake or a lizard, either or. This is a fossilized shark vertebrae, the only other part of the shark that fossilized. Sometimes you can find them, they're smaller, and sometimes you can find them, they're bigger. But they're really cool to find. I like finding those. I had a lady find one of them about that big yesterday. And then she found a smoking Meg to go with it. Cool. So, these are giant armadillos and glyptodon scutes. So the giant armadillos are kind of flat, like a little brownie. The glyptodons kind of got like a little daisy pattern to it. These are kind of, I say they're choice fossils. If you find one today, that's awesome because not everybody goes out and they find one. It's so funny. I guess sometimes some people are like, I want to find one of those, and they do. But it's just each hole is a little bit different, so you never know what you're gonna get. Also, usually if you find one in your hole, you are more than likely gonna find 2 or 3. They had a lot of these little scoops on them, so if you find one, you usually find multiples. And there's different size ones. Like these are a little bit smaller, just come from different areas on their shells. Pretty cool. Fossilized gator scutes. It's the osteoderm plate on their back. It's underneath their leather skin. So these got pretty big pores on the top and they're pretty flat on the bottom. They got a nice little ridge on it. This is an alligator one. A croc one's got a big old knot on the top. This is a croc tooth and this is an alligator tooth. So alligator teeth are rounded, croc teeth are really pointy. These are also kind of hollow teeth. So most of the time you do find them, they're going to be broken pieces of enamel. Finding a whole one, that's awesome. Just put it somewhere safe that it's not going to get broken amongst your bones. So just
you can hand them to us too. Just remember that we have them, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I have people that forget them on the boat and they're like, hey, can you ship it to me? I do, but I hate boxing up with alligator teeth because they're kind of fragile. All right, so oddball shark teeth. This is a hemiprentice or a snaggle tooth. These are really cool shark teeth. They both have big knots on the top. These are from the same shark. This is upper principal and this is a lower principal. Uppers are wide, lowers are narrow, and that kind of goes with a couple different species I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. So uppers are serrated, the lowers, they really don't have any serrations on them. Sometimes they'll have a couple little cusps on the side, but that's about it. They're pretty cool. I like those. And then we have the small shark teeth. These are pretty big small shark teeth, so keep your eyes peeled for even smaller ones. And there is even like small megalodons that if you guys are not looking for small teeth, you won't pick out those megs. All right, so lemons, bulls, tigers, and sand tigers. So bull sharks, they're pretty triangular. They got some serrations on them. You guys see the serrations glistening? Lemon shark teeth, they are triangular as well, but they don't have any serrations on them. Tiger shark teeth, they got a cool little curve and also serrations on them, and sand tigers do not have any serrations. They usually have 2 little cusps on each side.
So all their teeth are like this?
Yes, for tiger shark teeth.
Wow.
Yep. Same with the bulls. Bulls can be like lemon shaped, but they'll have serrations on it, so it's a little bit different. If you start like getting into small shark teeth, you be a little micro tedious whenever you get home and you start picking out like, okay, I got a bunch of lower bulls and they're pretty triangular like a lemon, but you'll notice the serrations on them. Even today, if you start picking at them and looking at them, they're pretty cool though. Sand tigers, we don't find a lot of these here in the river, but you do find a lot of them at the beach, but we do occasionally find them here in the river. They got a big U-shaped root. These are pretty cool. Makos, these are awesome teeth too. They are, people call them makos, but they're actually called a lesser great white. They transitioned to the modern great white that we have today. The only difference between the 2 teeth is this one has serrations on it. You see the difference? Same again, upper principals are pretty wide, lower principals are pretty narrow. Same with the great white. Lesser great white. These are really cool. These are choice fossils. Don't find many of these, period. They're pretty rare in the state of Florida. Most of the time people do find them. It's going to be like the Carolinas and northern cold water states. But we have found a few. I only have a few in my collection, so. And last but not least, the megalodon. Everybody's looking for the megalodon. So fossil records have proven that Florida is the nursery grounds. The mama megs would come down from like the Carolinas and stuff, and they'd have their pups. So the juveniles, they had a better chance of survival in the shallower water for feeding and also predator-wise amongst themselves. So 1 inch of their shark tooth is per 10 feet of their body. So if you got a 3-inch tooth, it came from a 30-foot shark. If you got a 1-inch tooth, it came from a 10-foot shark. It's crazy. So I say about a 3-inch, 3.5-inch tooth is pretty big for the state of Florida. Most of the time you're going to find them, they're going to be juvenile sizes. These are still awesome to find, and also finding a whole one takes luck. It's not just like skill, it's just you got to be at the right spot at the right time to find them. Most of the time you guys are going to find them, they're going to be broken. They're not broken because of time, they're broken because it's feeding damage. They were eating all this stuff in here and they were just breaking their teeth left and right. So not everybody's going to find a whole one today, or maybe everybody will. Who knows? But usually everybody should find a broken one today. Sometimes I go out fossil hunt, I don't find any Megs at all. It's just every day is different. You never know what you're going to find. You know, some days you go out, you might be your first time ever hunting, and you might just get lucky right off rip. I had a little boy the other day, found an absolute beautiful smoking Meg on his first scoop. Dennis was jealous because it was his scoop that he put it in there. He's like, I'm not going to take it from that little boy. But he dreams about that tooth, I bet still. So everybody feel pretty confident in what you're looking for today?
Yep.
Okay. If you guys don't know what something is, like I said, just put it in your bag or ask us. It's fine. I'm not going to judge you.
But I came across sand on it, you know, fossilized sand on it. I never seen it.
All right, this is a lucky one. I can feel it.
It's like gambling.
I know.
Well, the lost part isn't quite the bad.
No, not at all.
If you're lucky, you're lucky. You're just not unlucky. The water and the weather is perfect.
Gorgeous.
Got some local Floridians here. Showing off teamwork makes the dream work. Diane and Danny. And look at that.
Good job, baby. He's the muscles. He's the muscles.
May I see that? I promise you I will give it back.
Yes, you may.
Beauty. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Already looking for another one.
I am. Of course I
There's gotta
am.
be more.